Behind every parked RV and Walmart, lots and highways, there's a story of job loss, rising rents, and middle-class families on the edge of survival. Let's explore this ongoing crisis.
You know, I had like an 1,800 square foot house, 4 bedrooms, 4 acres of property. It was like, what can I fit in a 22-foot trailer?
A growing number of Americans are calling RV parks like this one I'm at near Chattanooga, Tennessee home because of soaring housing costs since the pandemic.
There's a stigma of RV parks, trailer parks being trashy, you know, where trashy people live. When they're not, you know, they're not all like that.
Renting a space here at an RV park can be around $400 to $500 a month, while rents in the area are up to $1,200, $1,500 a month for even just a 1-bedroom apartment.
This is it. I mean,
for people who are on a fixed income, for people who have hourly jobs, or just making the median area income, that's become unaffordable, causing some people to have to turn to RVs.
It's like, what's important? What do you want to be spending your time on at work and paying bills? And so far, I have been happy for the changes. I've been, you know, I mean, there's times when it's like I miss my horses and I miss my house and my garden and all the stuff I had to get rid of. I hardly miss any of the stuff, honestly. You know, I had like an 1,800 square foot house, 4 bedrooms.
The sun comes up slow over a Walmart lot, washing a line of tired windshields in pink. A small hand pushes aside a curtain in a 30-foot trailer, and you can almost hear the sigh before the day starts. Dad is already up, boiling water on a propane stove. Mom checks the freshwater tank level and flips the pump. The kids whisper to each other about cereal and cartoons they cannot stream because the data plan is out until Friday. In another corner of the lot, a diesel idles, a white noise machine for a life that never quite gets quiet. This is not a vacation. This is home. We like to imagine RVs as weekend toys and retirement gifts. For a growing number of middle-class families, they are the last available roof. Teachers, nurses, delivery drivers, small business owners, technicians, all the people who keep towns running find themselves priced out of apartments they once could afford. A rent hike lands like a punch. A landlord sells the building. Mortgage approval falls apart when interest rates jump. A medical bill hits at the same time a car transmission does, and the budget tips. An RV, whether it is a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, or a motorhome, becomes the bridge. It is not usually because someone wants the freedom of the open road. It is because they need 4 walls on short notice. And there are wheels under the walls that make them possible. Meet Maria and Joel. She teaches 2nd grade. He works the night shift at a distribution center. They have 2 kids who love dinosaurs and soccer. For years, they made it work in a 2-bedroom place near the school. Then the letter arrived. The rent would jump in 60 days to a number that swallowed half their take-home pay. They called every complex within an hour. Wait lists, application fees they could not get back, income requirements they barely missed. They looked at the numbers on the kitchen table like they would look at a map. There was no path that kept them housed and allowed them to buy groceries. A cousin mentioned a used trailer for sale. It was not pretty, but it was clean. They bought it, parked it in a monthly RV park 30 minutes from school, and learned a brand new life in a week. That first week comes with a crash course in plumbing and patience. You learn how sounds travel differently through thin walls. You learn not to run the microwave with a space heater. You learn to watch the weather because a hard freeze can crack your lines and a big wind can put a tree where your roof should be. You learn new words like boondocking when you are not plugged into anything and you are living on your tanks and your battery. You learn the schedule of the dump station, and you learn to be humble about the work that keeps a small space livable day after day. Morning in an RV is choreography. One person uses the kitchen while another kid puts on shoes at the dinette. Someone takes the dog out and checks if last night's rain puddled on the slide topper.
Bought this place for a little over $130K. It was complete dump inside and out. Since I have purchased it, I've put about $120,000 cash into it. Well, they come along and reassess it. My taxes are going to triple. And I did all that work on my own. I busted my ass. Inside and out, landscaping, roof, gutted half the place. It's getting to the point where I can't even afford to live in a house that I bought almost 15 years ago. The price of everything has doubled. Vehicles, double. You know the deal. Groceries, double. Insurances, double, including vehicle insurance.
You leave for school and work with 3 more tasks in your head. Fill propane. Find a laundromat that will take the week's clothes without eating the card. Pick up a water filter because the last couple of fills tasted like pennies. You become the kind of person who notices spigots behind public buildings and who understands the difference between a friendly security guard and one having a bad day. You get good at kindness because you want it back. The math of this life looks simple until you live it. A monthly RV park rate can be lower than apartment rent, but everything else wants a slice. Propane for heat and cooking, gas for the tow vehicle or the motorhome itself, which drinks more than a car ever will. Maintenance that arrives on its own schedule. Tires that fail suddenly and expensively on a hot road. A water pump that quits on a Sunday night. Insurance that does not quite fit the categories because your house moves. Data plans that you squeeze and stretch because your kids still need homework done and you still need to apply to better jobs. The money you thought you would save is real, but the margin gets eaten by 1,000 small realities. It is not always the money that hurts. It is the way the world treats an RV family as either a nuisance or a novelty. Neighbors complain when a trailer shows up on a street that used to be lined with sedans. Some cities pass laws that make sleeping in a vehicle a punishable act, even if that vehicle is the only home a family has. Overnight parking becomes a rotation of lots where the rules change with the manager. A place that welcomed RVS last month decided to post signs today. You move not because you want to wander, but because the ground shifts under you. The kids notice. They ask if this spot is safe. They ask when they will have a room they can decorate without worrying it might roll away. Schools become a lifeline. There are protections for students whose housing is unstable that allow them to stay enrolled and keep transportation help. And the best districts lean into that.
If you live in your vehicle, where do you park overnight? I'll show you. So I'm here. I'm staying in a town pump gas station. I Googled truck stop near me. And then this one came up. And so then I called them and I said, hey, do you guys allow overnight parking? And he asked me what kind of rig I'm in. I told him and he said, yeah, drive up, come to me, and then I'll show you where you can park. Every town pump that I've ever been to, or Flying J's or Pilots, they've always been wonderful because they have cameras and I feel really safe. And they're open 24/7. That is one place. Then I also look on ioverlander.com and then I type in the zip code of where I'm at and then I filter it to dispersed camping, wild camping, and find free spots that way. Yeah, it's really not that hard. Some places are worse than others, but overall, it is not bad.
A social worker calls to ask what the family needs. A teacher sends quiet support, extra snacks, a hand on a shoulder, a promise to keep routines steady. For a child doing math at a wobbly table with condensation on the window, that steadiness is everything. The RV becomes the constant, and the adults inside it work twice as hard to make life feel normal. Listen to Ben. He is a journeyman electrician, good at his job, proud of his union card. A divorce cracked his finances. He fell behind during a stretch without overtime, and his credit took a hit. A fifth wheel was the only thing he could buy without a background check that disqualified him for a past mistake. He parked behind a warehouse with permission from the owner who liked him. One night, a new security guard called it in, and he woke up to flashing lights. He moved to the far edge of an industrial park, then to a truck stop, then finally found a legal monthly space that cost more than he wanted to pay, but bought him sleep. He gets up at 4, makes coffee on the stove, and drives to the job site before dawn. He's not lazy, he's not irresponsible, he is one more link in a chain that is fraying. RVs were not designed for full-time living by families on a tight budget. They are light to pull, so they are fragile to repair. They seal well enough for a week, not a winter. They look big on the outside and small on a rainy Sunday afternoon when everyone needs a corner. You get creative. A shower becomes a storage closet when you are near a campground bathhouse. A bunk becomes a tiny homework station with a clip light and a quiet rule. You eat more one-pot meals. You learn to warm a space with a safe ceramic heater and to respect the limits of your wiring. You become an expert in condensation and mildew. You keep a roll of butyl tape and a tube of sealant on hand like a first aid kit. Yet there is kindness here too. An older couple in the next site knocks to ask if you need a longer hose because your water line is just short of the hookup. A neighbor with a tool chest helps tighten a loose bearing. Someone offers you their spare stabilizer pad when the ground goes soft after a storm. The community is not glamorous. It is practical and generous. People who did not imagine living this way compare notes like old friends because they are, for as long as they share a gravel lane and a laundry room. Take a drive through an RV park on the edge of any growing city, and you will see how the picture has changed. The winter snowbird rigs are still there in some places, but many sites hold travel trailers with sticker residue from used dealers and minivans parked close. Bicycles lean on picnic tables. Potted plants turn a temporary pad into a small yard. On Fridays, a line of kids rides by in helmets that are a little too big, laughing like kids do when they race and fall and dust off their knees. The signs at the front gate talk about pool hours and quiet time, and then a separate sign explains the monthly rate, the security deposit, and the rules about outdoor storage.
Okay, y'all, I need some pro tips for tonight. Sleeping in my car last night was freaking miserable. I had sweat just rolling, and it had been that way all week long. Only thing I can think about is we had some rain and the humidity, and it's not going to be any better tonight. And if you're from the South, you know that you can't just roll down a car window, open a door to your house or window to your house. You're fixing to get eat up with mosquitoes, gnat, any kind of flying creature, or you're fixing to let some snakes in. So if any of my fellow car campers, anybody has any tips on a rechargeable or battery operated fans, air conditioners, anything, if you could please leave it in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it.
This is not vacation. This is simply the most affordable way to be anchored to a metro area where the jobs pay enough to survive if housing does not devour the paycheck. Behind all of this sits a simple truth that is not simple to fix. For years, America built fewer homes than new families needed. In many neighborhoods, it is illegal to build anything except a single house on a large lot. Construction costs rose, while wages for many families barely did. Investors bought up starter homes and rented them. Local opposition slowed projects that might add more options. When the economy jolted, the people closest to the margin fell first. They did not fall into tents. They fell into RVs and motels and friends' couches. They did what they had to do to keep going. There are families who thought the RV would be a 2-month plan and found themselves still parked a year later. They did not stop trying. They met every requirement a landlord gave them. They saved for deposits while paying for propane and repairs. Every delay pushed them a little further out of the city where their jobs are. Commuting 60 miles every day from an affordable park turns the savings into gas money and lost time. That is the invisible tax of a housing market that treats stability as a luxury. Some municipalities are trying small fixes that matter. A safe parking program with security, lighting, bathrooms, and caseworkers can turn a dangerous patchwork into a stepping stone. A city run lot with clear rules and on-site help tells families they will not be chased away for a month while they get paperwork in order. School districts train staff to spot families in RVS and to make enrollment easy even without traditional documents. A nonprofit sets up a mobile clinic on Wednesdays to offer vaccines and checkups, and a legal aid group helps clean up an old eviction record or correct a mistake on a background report.
Americans cannot afford to live at all, okay? I just had a conversation with some co-workers, and they told me that some of their family members are actually living in their cars, right? They're living in cars to save money, right? They shower at the gym, and they just sleep in their cars to save money and all that stuff because the rent is way too high. It's like nobody can afford to live. The only people that can afford to live, that can afford food and rent, comfortably is you got to be making like near $1 million, at least $500,000. Because even people that are six-figure earners, depending on where you live, they are struggling like crazy.
These are not flashy solutions. They are bridges that keep people from falling into deeper crises. There are bigger ideas on the table too. Allowing more kinds of homes on more streets, converting empty offices and hotels into apartments that a nurse can afford, supporting community land trusts that take land out of the speculation race and keep rents in reach, helping residents of manufactured home parks buy the ground under their homes when the park goes up for sale, encouraging small builders and homeowners to add accessory units in backyards, speeding up permits for simple, code-safe designs. These ideas are not ideological, they are practical, and they take time. Time is the luxury most families in RVS do not have. So, what does a family do right now? They do what families have always done. They make plans and they make promises. They set rules and routines. They write a budget with more precision than ever, down to quarters for the laundry machine and the next oil change. They choose a park with better lighting, even if it means a longer drive to work. They keep copies of documents in a dry box. They teach their kids to memorize a phone number and to stay close in crowded places. They look for strong cell service before they hook up, because a reliable hotspot can keep a job going and a child in class when school goes virtual. They join groups that share local knowledge about where to fill water and where to avoid. They learn from others who have done this longer and are happy to share what they wish they had known on day one. The hardest part is not the work. It is the grind on your sense of identity. Middle class tells you that a house is not just a roof. It is a place to belong. When your address changes with the weather, you can feel like you lost the script. The truth is more generous. You did not lose the script. You rewrote it to protect your family. You bought time. You bought safety. You did what adults do when life does not match the brochure. You found a way to keep going.
Owning a house is a scam. My sister is trying to sell her house in Louisiana right now because the insurance has gotten so out of control that she doesn't even have a strong policy and she doesn't see it as financial stability anymore. 30 years of debt is not ownership. 6 years of debt is not ownership, but at least in 6 years, I'll own this van. Sure, the risks are higher, but I have insurance. But honestly, what does insurance actually protect these days? Let's be real. So I'll keep going through life with my fingers crossed and hope that after 6 years, I have saved enough money to buy land by living in this van.
Listen to Tasha. She works from a laptop at a folding table in a motorhome with a toddler napping 10 feet away. Her older son does his reading on the top bunk, swinging his legs in the air and whispering the words to check himself. They live near the school they need to be near. And every month, Tasha sighs when the park bill arrives because it hurts. But it is less than the apartment she cannot get. On Fridays, she takes the kids to a park with a good playground and strong shade because the motorhome is an oven in the afternoon. She puts aside $10 a week for a bigger emergency. She calls it the Door Fund. The Door Fund is for the day a real lease comes through and she can carry her kids across a threshold that will not move. There is a scene that plays out when families finally move out of an RV and into a new place. The first night feels like a hotel. The second feels unfamiliar. It takes a week before it feels like home. The sound you notice most is silence. No generator hum. No rattling in the wind. The refrigerator does not click the way an RV fridge clicks. The bathroom does not require a pump. The kids run 5 steps and laugh because they cannot reach the wall. The RV does not become a source of shame. It becomes an artifact of grit. Some families sell it to pay deposits and fees, a trade they make with a smile. Others keep it as a backup, a fallback, a promise that they will never be without shelter again. Not every family lands cleanly. Some slide back after a job shifts or a car breaks. The difference now is they know the dance. They know the pumps and the tanks and the routes. They know which parks feel safe and which lots are trouble. They know who to call. Knowledge is power in a crisis. Community is power too. There are networks that connect RV families to resources faster than any hotline. They share what works and what does not. They protect each other. They turn survival into something that looks like living when you squint. It is tempting to treat all of this as a curiosity. It is not. It is a mirror. It shows how close comfort sits to the edge. It shows how fast a family can tumble from stable to precarious when one number shifts the wrong way. It shows how many of our systems assume everyone has a fixed address and a spare room when they do not. It shows how much dignity matters and how easily it is bruised by a sign that says no overnight parking in letters 10 feet tall. The promise of the middle class has always been that if you work hard and make decent choices, you should be able to build a life that is safe and predictable. For too many, that promise has narrowed to a thread. You still work hard. You still make decent choices. You still get knocked sideways by a market that does not need you to be comfortable to keep spinning. If we care about that promise, we have to widen the path, not with slogans, but with doors that open, rents that fit, schools that welcome, and simple policies that treat a family in an RV as a family first. Here is what this channel promises. We will tell these stories with compassion and detail. We will not turn people into symbols. We will not look away when a town decides that the answer to visible hardship is to push it into the next town. We will keep our cameras on the people who are doing what they can with what they have. We will listen and we will learn.
I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just informed me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car and I can't because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive. I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription, everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me. And they're not making it, y'all. They're not making it. What hurts me the most is that there are so many women, especially, that just cannot afford to leave abusive homes and they have to stay in it because of this economy.
If you are living this life right now, you are not alone. You are not a failure. You are not invisible. Your skills and your love and your stubbornness are keeping your family afloat, and that is hero work. If you are not living it, you can still be part of the answer. You can vote for leaders who treat housing as essential. You can support local programs that help families bridge the gap between crisis and stability. You can choose to see the RV in the next parking lot as a home and the people inside as neighbors. If this story moved you, share it. Comment with solutions you believe in. Subscribe for more reporting.